Hey y'all, what is up? My name is Rosie and I'm going to explore a little something different on my channel today. I'm going to talk about two men who are totally different from each other. They had nothing to do with one another. They didn't grow up together. They weren't friends. They didn't know anything about each other probably. They probably never crossed paths. In fact, I think the only way these two men have anything in common was the fact that they both died in 1992. What I'm exploring of these two men, I want to know what some people might think were on their minds before they passed away. And I'm going to talk about a little bit of what I think might have been going through their minds before it happened. I'm not going to go extensively into their life stories or anything because I don't know a whole lot about them. I didn't have a whole lot of time to research. This is just an impromptu video, just something I thought would have been a little bit interesting. And I'm hoping that other people think so too. The first person I'm going to talk about is Christopher McCandless. Christopher McCandless was born February 12, 1968. And he graduated college in May 1990 under the double majors of history and anthropology. After graduating, he gave away $24,000. He donated it to this organization called Oxfam, and he took to the road. He left home, and he adopted a vagabond lifestyle. And his sister speculated that it was because of abuse fueled by their father's alcoholism. Now, of course, the parents totally deny this. She put it in her book. She wrote that in her book, and the parents totally deny it, saying that her book wasn't a work of fiction and blah, blah, blah. You know how parents can be, so I'll just say alleged. She alleged that they abused both the children. I don't know. All I do know is that Christopher McCandless found out that his father never divorced his first wife before marrying the second. I'll just say what I found on Wikipedia and what I heard in a video about Chris McCandless. It says author John Krakauer speculated, and sister Corrine later confirmed in her book The Wild Truth, that Walt's overlap between these two marriages, his first and second marriages, his half-brother Quinn was born to Walt's first wife after Walt had fathered Chris with his second wife, affected McCandless deeply and shaped his worldview. So that's what's written, and everything. So they say that that's affected him deeply, as well as the alleged abuse, and that he just took home. He even changed his name to something, I forgot what it was, but he just took to the road. He got in his Datsun and started traveling. And he went to California, Arizona, and South Dakota. And it says that a flash flood disabled his car. And then he took the license plates and took what he could carry and kept moving on foot. The police later found his car, had it repaired, and used it for undercover work at the local police department. In April of 1992, he hitchhiked from South Dakota to Fairbanks, Alaska. That is a long way. And he took to the Alaskan bush, and it said that it's unforgiving up there. And a lot of people say that he didn't know what he was doing. He didn't really know how to hunt. He didn't know how to survive in that kind of environment. And he wound up passing away, possibly from starvation brought on by poisoning. He probably inadvertently poisoned himself trying to survive. I saw this clip, the ending of a clip about his life. And at the end of that clip, you see that he's struggling to put on clothes. He's struggling to wash himself. and he puts on some clean clothes and he zips himself up in a sleeping bag. And he thinks about going back home, and he's cleanly shaven, and he runs up and he embraces his parents, and he's looking up at the sky, and the sky is all sunny and blue, and he has tears streaming down his face. And then it shows the stillness of his face where it looks like the light went out of his eyes. And so you can only imagine that that means he passed away. Chris McCandless was found in his sleeping bag in an abandoned bus that he used for shelter in Alaska. He was found by two men who went hunting, and it was like 2 weeks after he had initially passed away. His sister had him cremated and took his remains home in her backpack on a plane. And I don't know much about his passing beyond that. What I want to know is what could possibly have been going through his mind in those final moments. I wonder how scared he was. He had to have been afraid. He had to be scared. He wrote notes trying to get people's attention. You know, I'm injured and I have no food, and this isn't a joke. If you don't find me here, I've gone out picking berries and I'll be back very shortly. You know, things like that, and no help ever came. And I just wonder, some people say that he didn't explore far enough along the river. He wanted to cross a river to get back to civilization because he was thinking of going home, but he couldn't because the river was flooded or something, and he couldn't get across it. And it is said that if he had hiked farther along that river, he could have found a place where he could go across, and he just didn't explore far enough. And he just went into the unknown. Some people won't go into the unknown because they're afraid of what might be out there. They're afraid of what they might find. They're afraid of what might happen to them. Chris McCandless went headfirst into the unknown, and he explored, and he lost his life. And I just wonder what in the world was going through his mind. Why did he feel the need to leave home? Was it because of his parents, or was it just a sense of adventure that he had? Was it something that he felt he had to do before going into a life of normalcy? He gave away $24,000. That's a lot of money, and especially in 1990 dollars. Come on now. I ain't giving that much away. I'll put it in a bank or something. I ain't giving it away. I'll give some of it to charity, but not all of it. Certainly not. So I have to salute his spirit of adventure, but I have to wonder why in the world did he put himself in danger like that. The second person I want to talk about is Chalino Sanchez. Chalino Sanchez was a certified badass. He was a singer of a form of music called narco corrido. Forgive me for butchering that word if I did. I figured out how to say it, and I said it Sunday with ease. I rolled my R's and everything, but I just cannot do that today. So he was born in Sinaloa, Mexico on August 30th, 1960. And he was, like I said, a certified badass. Facts kind of vary on this situation, but when he was young, his sister was raped by someone they called El Chapo. Now, on Wikipedia, it is said that the guy's name was Chapo Perez, so it wasn't the El Chapo that everybody knows about. This is a totally different guy. And sometime later, It is said that Chalino Sanchez saw the guy at a party, and this man was very dangerous, by the way. He was a very, very dangerous man. Very dangerous. And he went up to him, silently approached him at the party, and got his revenge. I'm not going to say what happened, but he got his revenge. And then he went on the run, and he hid out, because if he had gotten caught, he certainly would have had revenge taken out on him. But he wasn't caught. He moved up to California with an aunt, and he took on different jobs like a day laborer, picking fruits and vegetables, and he sold cars. He was also a coyote. What a coyote is an immigrant smuggler. He smuggled people into the country. Excuse me. And his brother was murdered, and he wrote a song for his brother. One of the Narco Corrido songs, and it was named after his brother. I forgot the name of his brother. I forgot the name of the song. I'm really very sorry, you guys. And so when he was in jail, he used to write these different lyrics. And he did it for favors and for money and things like that. And these people would just tell him about their lives and be like, would you write a song for me? And so he did. And his name just got around, and people heard about him and wanted songs written about them too. These tough guys and criminals and stuff. Will you write a song for me? And he wrote lyrics for them. These guys did not want lyrics. They wanted a song. So he found a cheap place where he could record, and found some musicians, and found out that these musicians did not know how to sing the type of songs that he wanted to record. He got angry about that, and he took over himself, and he started to sing. He wasn't like a practiced singer. He wasn't a professional singer, but he did it anyway. As a matter of fact, he roasted himself. He said, I don't sing, I bark. So, but I've heard him sing. I've heard some of his songs. And he wasn't that bad. I mean, I won't say that he was like a crooner, but he was able to get his point across in these songs, and people loved him. And he had a sense of realism and a genuineness that people were drawn to. And they said that he was a man of the people, and people were just drawn to that. Well, one person who wasn't drawn to it in a positive way was this guy by the name of Eduardo Gallegos. I don't know how to pronounce his name correctly, but usually when I see two L's, I go for Gallegos. I could be wrong. But anyway, he jumped up on stage under the influence while Chalino was recording one night, and this happened in Coachella in 1992. And he jumps up there holding a gun and starting some kind of altercation, and it is said that he shot Chalino, and he had an injured lung. Chalino had an injured lung. So Chalino took out his piece, and I'm going to say it the way that Sam J says it in her Netflix special. Niggas want to bust back. So that's what he did. This nigga busted, he busted back. But, they exchanged gunfire, and sadly, an innocent person in the crowd was shot. I don't know, they never get into specifics of whose gun killed this poor person, this poor guy, but it happened. And it was on ABC World News Tonight, and that probably put some kind of a target on Chalino Sanchez, because as long as he was not high profile, he was fine. But the higher profile he got, and the more well-known his name got, the more he was in danger. and he knew that. And he recuperated in the hospital, of course, and then a few months later he was back out on the road, and he was invited to do some shows in his hometown of Sinaloa, Mexico, and so he did it. Well, he got a note while up on stage, and this clip is up on YouTube. He was performing. He was in the middle of performing, and then he reads this note, and then he looks up, and you just see this look of distress on his face. He kind of wipes sweat from his brow, and he just looked so scared. And it is said that what was in the note was, if you continue to perform, or if you perform tonight, you will die tonight, or something like that, or after your performance tonight, you'll die. It's something like that was in that note. And well, after his performance that night, he left with some of his family members. I think it was some of his brothers, a cousin, and several young women. And they were stopped in the car. They were stopped by this group of people claiming to be police officers, and he was ordered out of the car. I think one of the guys told him, the police chief or somebody wants to see you. And he was like, well, okay, I guess, okay. And so he left with them. And he was found the next morning around 6 a.m. and he was blindfolded, and he had rope burns around his wrist, and he was found by an irrigation canal. I won't say what happened to him, but he was not alive, obviously. And this was May 15th or May 16th, 1992. It was May 16th, 1992 that he was found. So sometime between the 15th and the 16th, they did what they said they were going to do, make good on their word. And I can't help but wonder what was on his mind at that time. And I'm going to tell you, when he got that note, he looked frightened. He looked so scared. And he looked conflicted. And he just kind of just went for it. He gestured to somebody off stage, and he went on singing. He just kept singing. And to me, that is the spirit of a badass, I'm telling you, because had it been me and I got a note like that, I would have been like, look, I just got this letter of someone who threatened my life. Somebody obviously doesn't want me here, and I have a family. I have to go. And I would have left. Either that, or I would have stopped the show feigning some kind of illness, and I would have gone home. There is no way I'd have kept performing. I would have just left and gone home. But he stayed there for all his fans who were gathered there to see him, and he played that last show. And then by the next day, he wasn't here anymore. You could see the fear in his eyes every time I watched that clip of him reading that letter and then going on with the show. It makes me sad. It makes me so sad. And I just wonder exactly what was going through his mind. Did he think of his son? He had to have thought of his son and his daughter before that. He had a son, Adan Sanchez, and a daughter, Cynthia. And he had a wife. Some people say that he might have been killed by, some people, bad people in Mexico. And some say that he might have gotten tangled up with the wrong woman. I don't know what the situation was or why they did it. But the fact of the matter is he isn't here anymore. His son passed away. He was also a singer. His son was also a singer. And it was regional Mexican singer, and he was pretty talented from what I've heard. And he was born April 14th, 1984, and he was only 19 years old when he passed away in an automobile accident in Sinaloa. Some conspiracy theorists say that the people who got his dad got him too, but it was a car accident. He wasn't wearing his seatbelt and he died. So we don't know the exact circumstances of his passing. We just know that it happened. And so that's really very sad. Of course, it's sad. And when I think of them both, I think, well, at least they've reunited now, but it's still very, very sad. And I just wonder what was going on in the minds of these men just before they passed away. What were they thinking about? We'll never know, of course. But I just think about that stuff sometimes. So, you know what? Slap a like on this video. Tell me what you think in the comments. Share this video and subscribe. It would mean a lot to me if you did. Thank you so much for wasting time with me. I appreciate it every time you do. I love you guys very, very much. Forgive the car sounds outside. I'm so sorry about that. But I love you guys very, very much. And I hope to see y'all on the next upload. Bye for now.